Hey guys, welcome to the Killing the Tea podcast. This is Gare,
And Kate.
and we are going to be discussing all things chills, thrills, and kills. Kate and I are going to be talking about our favorite books, TV shows, and movies that are in the thriller or crime fiction genre, as well as some reading habits and other items related to how we met on Bookstagram that will fit in with this podcast. So, thank you so much for joining us, and we hope that you have fun and get totally terrified. Have there been any books that have totally terrified you, made it hard for you to sleep at night? Anything that's really like, whether it's like, oh, this book scared the hell out of me because of
Mhm.
X, Y, and Z, or are there any books that gave you that Ursulina vibe where it was like hard to sleep at night? Because it was hard for me to sleep at night when I was reading the Ursulina
Oh,
because,
really?
well, I
Yeah.
think that if you like,
The,
if you grew up in this area, like where I live, if
that's a good
you
point.
were from this town and they said it was,
Yeah, yeah.
this town in New York in this
Yep.
book, it would have been believable.
Right. I do live in the middle of nowhere in Indiana, but I'm also that's intriguing to me because we found like one little difference finally. It only took us 7 episodes because I was like, why were people saying this was scaring them so much? Because it didn't scare me that much. I just loved it. Like it has a lot of violence in it, but it didn't scare me long term, but I loved the book. So that's kind of we found one difference. But
There's a
I don't live in
lot.
the woods.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I have like cornfields across the road from my house, and then I have like a fence and a
Uh-huh.
field and woods behind my house.
Okay. So
So
yeah, you have like that behind you. Yeah.
yeah, and but I also like there's just something scary about the fact that there's so much wooded area around where I live.
Yeah.
And with
Yeah, that
something
makes
like
sense.
this, like it was the same thing that I felt when I watched the Blair Witch Project.
Yes.
Like I was
Yeah.
like, nah, not doing it, not doing it. But I loved it. But there were
Yeah.
times where it creeped me out. The thing that I found very interesting is the contrast between, a lot of people said don't read the last 10% at night, or they
Yeah.
mentioned the last 10% a lot, and the
Yes.
contrast between what I realized the last 10% was about and what I
Hmm.
was expecting was very different.
I agree. I completely agree. We
So
talked about how we thought it would end, and we weren't even close.
no, no, what I was
Like
expecting
not even a little.
was your Hollywood last
Mhm.
10% of a
Like
movie, I
face
guess.
off. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, or
Where you're
that
like
like,
chasing and trying to
mhm,
capture the person you finally know is the problem.
yeah, and it
Yeah.
was just a lot different. It was
So much different.
scary and it was really heavy, but it was just like a lot different. But I
Yes.
also like that it wasn't that like cookie cutter plot where it's like,
Yeah.
okay, here's the lone deputy who's gonna chase the bad guy in the woods with her gun all by
Yes.
herself with no cell
Because she
phone
just
in the
she
80s.
can't let it go,
She
even
cannot
though
let it
she's putting
go.
herself in danger.
Cannot let it go. There's
Why am
only
I
other
freezing?
there's only other oh,
I'm frozen in a really nice smile. Okay. I'm gonna take a picture of this just because it's funny. Why am I smiling like that? Oh my god, that's hilarious. Okay, let's see. There we go. I'm moving now.
I
Okay.
love that. That was a very Cheshire cat smile that you had. And I like,
No, I didn't know I had it in me.
oh, you had nightmares?
You're right. Oh, I have to send you this. I have to send you the screenshot of I like asked an author if there was going to be another book in a series, and like I even knew the answer that there was, but I
Uh-huh.
asked her at the end of the podcast, and my smile after it is like spill the tea, girl.
Yeah, like tell
I'm
me
like, oh my
everything.
gosh.
That's
So
so
I'll just send
funny.
that to you. It's funny when you edit yourself, you get to see all the little things you do.
Oh my God, I know, I bet. You're so good at it though. Ugh,
Well,
so
thank you.
jealous. Um,
Yeah.
So yeah,
Um,
I'm very curious about
my
I'm
other
very
books.
I'm very curious on what frightens you.
Yeah.
I have a
So I'll
list
say
of
like Jar of Hearts was one that kept me up at night, is what's interesting.
kept you up at night because you were afraid
Out
or
of like, yeah, kind of freaked out by the way the like violence was talked about.
I can see that.
I'm not, well, I can't remember if that's in the synopsis, but like the way the people were killed was like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
I can see that. I'm gonna bounce off your idea then because
Mhm.
I have one. So I have like notes. I have like reasons as to why these are some of the
Yeah.
ones that just completely scared me. Um,
Hmm.
one of them is one that I was not expecting to frighten me because of the fact that I like knew what it was about, but it's called Find Her by
Hmm.
Lisa Gardner.
Okay. Yep.
And it's part of the Dee Dee Warren series, but like I started the series with this book and went on.
Okay.
But it's about a woman who they think is a vigilante because she keeps being found around crime scenes where like men are killed who are like bad guys.
Mm.
And then the book goes back and forth with like this police officer, Dee Dee Warren, or
Hmm.
detective, and her like being like, okay, is this girl guilty or not? But also realizing that the woman who they suspect is the vigilante, her backstory is her being abducted by a trucker when she was on spring break in college and being physically and psychologically and sexually abused by this man for
Oh
over
my
400
God.
days.
Oh my God.
He had her for 400 days. Like the I don't even know if this is a spoiler or if this is just something I feel. I mean, I don't think it's a spoiler, so like we don't have to.
It's in the first sentence of the description.
Yeah, but like that thing, it just psychologically made me really scared and upset because being abducted is one of my biggest fears, but also you have that feeling of you also think of it from your family and your friends and your loved ones aspect as well, where if somebody's gone for 400 days at that point, you're just waiting to find their
You've,
body.
yeah, you've accepted
You've
most
accepted that they're
likely.
dead.
Yeah.
And while it's miraculous for somebody to survive being taken by somebody of that character for 400 days, you don't you're not found safe and he's like taken away to jail or killed or whatever and you just like go back to your normal life.
Hmm.
You know, like you are forever changed and it's almost that like do you wish that he would have killed you sooner or are you happy that you're still alive?
Yeah.
Because let's
So
be
bouncing
honest,
off, go ahead.
my last point about this book as to why it's
Yeah.
terrifying to me too, there are certain tropes that I wish were more present in thrillers because I feel like at this
Hmm.
point they are stereotypes that aren't talked about enough and if they were done effectively would be really scary because when you think of a
Yeah.
serial killer you don't expect people like Ted Bundy who were like charming and good looking and stuff like that, and that's what authors do a lot in their books now.
Yeah.
The stereotypes for a serial killer would be the deranged trucker, the creepy custodian guy at a high school, some of these
Yeah.
other stereotypes, but because they're writing crime fiction and they want to have some sort of twist where it's somebody that you least expect and things like that, they don't really
Mhm.
explore that enough, which is why also this book
Yeah.
stuck with me so much because she took a stereotype and still made it something that's like a binge worthy book. But
That's awesome.
that book just kept me up at night because I was like, I don't know what I would do in that woman's situation if
Yeah.
somebody
That
had
sounds
me.
terrifying.
And he's a trucker. So they're not, he's not keeping her in his basement in one house in one location. Like
Right. Right.
he's, you know,
No one's noticing anything.
no one's noticing a thing. Terrifying.
That is
Terrifying.
terrifying. That reminds me of, now I'll do a TV recommendation based off of that. There's
Ooh.
a show on Amazon called Absentia. And the gist of it is, I think she's a police officer. She's some type of law enforcement who's trying to track down a serial killer. and he captures her and keeps her in captivity. Similarly, I think it's more than a year.
Okay.
And like then she manages to escape one time and get back to like, you know, where everyone used to be looking for her. And
Right.
now her husband has like already moved on with another woman, and her kid, who was like 3 when she left, barely remembers her, and he remembers this other woman as more of his mom.
Oh
And
my
it
God.
is heartbreaking. Like, it was hard for me to watch, but it's really good too. But it was so sad to think about exactly what you said. Like, if you came back and you like could kind of understand that people moved on, but you're still like really sad that they did, what would you do? And that's like the premise of the show. And then she's still trying to catch that guy.
There's one book that I read that sounds similar to that.
Mm-hmm.
It's Minka Kent Unmissing,
Yeah. Yes.
where
Yes.
the wife is gone for like 10 years and she comes back and like the
Yeah.
husband's new wife answers the door. It's really good.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, there's something very psychologically chilling about books like that, which is why they like kind of keep me up at night or like scare me so much,
Mm-hmm.
because it's kind of like, I think we discussed this like a couple of weeks ago, where you always wonder what somebody's like after the crime, like at the end of a horror movie when it's like the final
Yeah.
girl and it's like how like fucked up is
Mm-hmm.
her life after this happened. And that's a book
Yeah.
that kind of
Yeah.
explores it. There's one book
Mm-hmm.
I read, I won't say what it is because I don't want this to like be a spoiler if people are sensitive about that, but there's
Uh-huh.
one book I read about a woman who survives an abduction, and she's like so terrified that the only place that she can really fall asleep is like in her closet, because it's
No.
such a confined space that she feels like she's
Yes.
safer. um
Mm-hmm.
so like stuff like that just completely like terrifies me, because it's not just you like physically surviving, it's like you're almost a different person when you
Yes.
come out of that experience.
You are. You really, yeah.
And I'm a baby. Like I am a big freaking baby. If I was kidnapped for an hour, I would be a different person for the rest of my life, because I'd be like,
Yeah,
oh
me
no.
too.
I'd also probably annoy the shit out of them enough that I would be dead within that hour. But if I did survive that 1 hour of being kidnapped, I would be like a completely different person. So that is
I would just
my
be like, can you put your phone on airplane mode and let me read? I'll be totally quiet over here.
yeah, I'd be like, can you turn the air conditioner on? Do we have any snacks? This water's not cold enough.
Yeah.
I don't have any pajamas. I'm not comfortable. I can't sleep in jeans.
I could not. It would take so long. I can't like live in jeans in general.
Oh my God. I wear jeans like on Thursday nights when I go to my
Mm-hmm.
hotspot coaches for dinner with my friends. And
Yeah,
that's when I wear my jeans. Like even
I
when I
get
grocery
it.
shop, I wear like black joggers because they're just like so comfortable. But I'm grocery
Yeah.
shopping, like who gives a shit?
Right.
Uh, I
Yeah,
think my
black
friends
leggings
would
are my
I think my friends would like intervene if I was like wearing like basically like sweatpants to like dinner.
yeah, they
they're
might.
all coming they're all coming from like work where they actually have to like leave their house, and I can't even like put on jeans just to go to dinner for a couple of hours. They'd be like, oh, okay.
Oh
you've
my
hit,
gosh,
you've hit rock bottom in your
these are all my
laziness.
problems when I go to leave. I'm like, but guys, I live in my home and work in my home and I'm
but
comfortable all
but
day.
women can get away with like leggings. Like if I
Yes.
were a woman, that's like all I'd live in. Like I wouldn't
God.
have jeans. But
No.
I mean, I guess I'm lucky that men's jeans have like the stretchy, like almost like jegging material now, because
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that bad to have
Rigid
to wear jeans.
jeans. Mm-mm. Not a
Ugh,
vibe. I need to be
scratchy
able to like
ones that
cross
don't
my legs.
stretch.
Yes.
Oh
And
my
they
God.
just like feel like you're wearing burlap.
Oh yeah. Ugh. And
Don't
when you
get
like,
me
yeah,
started.
okay.
or, or you can. I'm like,
What,
just start
yeah,
me.
what scares you? Jeans and then this one bug. Like,
I think jeans might be scarier.
What keeps you up late at night? The thought of jeans not having any stretch material in them.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Leggings
I
for
only,
life.
yeah, anything comfy and stretchy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, life.
So I have one that definitely scared the shit out of me with the ending. And it is Her Every Fear by Peter Swanson.
Fuck. That almost made my list.
I thought I was gonna like there was so much buildup. I was like, oh God, is it what he thinks it is?
No, I had a geek out. I had a geek out moment with my facial expression because I've been thinking all day, like if we're gonna have any that are like
I have been too.
similar or the same one. But yes, Her Every Fear, so good. And I
Yes.
can see
Like
that.
it scared me.
Yeah.
It was freaky.
Yeah. It's scary and
Because
like
like
a
it's the kind of revelation where then you
watcher.
look back on a lot of things that happen in the book and all of a sudden everything is scarier.
I have flashbacks of the imagery in that book during
Yeah.
creepy and frightening scenes, and that definitely would have been. I was thinking about it. I was thinking about it.
Mhm. And the main character's name is Kate. So there's that.
That was so good. That was a really good
I could
choice.
reread that one because it's been a long time since I read that one.
I'd like to
2017.
reread that one. I'd like
My
to reread
review
that one.
starts with all caps. I love Peter Swanson. That's what the review starts with that I wrote.
Ugh, so good. So good. You know, I
Mhm.
did a thing where I'm looking for recommendations for what people want to see for like my posters that
Yeah.
I do on Friday. And somebody
Mhm.
was like, The Kind Worth Killing. And I was like, okay. And then I was like, oh my God, like I was like, I haven't done one of those yet. So
I thought you did like for like
I
at the
thought I did
beginning for some
too,
reason.
but I
Okay.
guess I didn't. I guess I did not. And
Wow.
I'm glad that somebody was like, oh, do The Kind Worth Killing. But I'm also like, Garrett, you are a huge disappointment. Which brings me to, which
Oh,
brings me
yeah,
to
go on.
the first one that I ever made for one of my favorite books in the entire world, The Sundown Motel.
Yes. Yes, I have not
That
read that
book,
one. I've heard about it.
wait, are you joking?
I'm not joking.
I think I might have to do
I think
like,
because it was so because her stuff's supernatural, I didn't lean into that as much until recently.
okay, but I don't like supernatural.
Okay.
And it's so, I'm making you a list. I'm not even joking. Like, I'm like,
You should.
um, it's supernatural, but there's also like actual real crime elements to them because the
Nice.
supernatural is done in like a very small, very believable sort of way.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So I'm making you your Halloween list. I have 3 books
I
on
need
it.
one.
2 are Simone
Need one.
St. James, and then you have to read The Chestnut Man.
Yes, you have been telling me that one
You have to
since
read
we
it during
started this.
you have to read it in the month of October.
Oh yeah, that's what you do need. I do need to know which ones like have to be read right now. You're right.
Yes. So this is like your like this is what you have to read in the next 20 days list. And
Okay.
when you pick them up, I'm reading them with you. Like I will reread these
Okay.
books with you
I'll
so we can
tell
have this
you.
experience together.
Yeah, I'm down.
Okay,
Have a
good.
very spooky, fun October.
I'm
And
okay.
I will like know that I'll love the book, so I won't have to think about it.
If you do not love the Sundown Motel, it would be heartbreaking because like I in the back of my mind thought that
Uh-huh.
you already read and also loved this book because this is the one that I thought
I
that
know
we
you thought I was kidding. You didn't
I
believe me.
I thought this would be on both of our lists because of the fact that it is so good. It is, I mean, okay, so it is a missing persons book.
Okay.
This woman worked as a night clerk in a motel in the middle of nowhere in
Uh-huh.
upstate New York and completely vanishes. And then like 40 years later, her niece is like kind of into like true crime and stuff and she goes to the
Okay.
town trying to find out what happened to her aunt all 40 years ago. And she,
Okay.
in her investigation, decides to work as the night clerk at the same motel and starts to have similar
Mm.
experiences. So it's dual
Whoa.
timeline, dual
Love
POV.
that.
There's actual like criminal elements in it, but the setting is fantastic. Like
Nice.
dark parking lot. The only thing that's like
Small
visible,
town, New York.
yeah, like the neon
Nice.
signs kind of bouncing off the wet
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
pavement vibe. You're going to be obsessed.
Mm-hmm.
You are going to be
It
obsessed.
sounds
So,
like it.
um,
It sounds like
the spooky supernatural elements in that actually did frighten me a bit because, like I said, they're
Mhm.
not overly done. Like it's not like, oh, was that like, is like my house making noises because it's getting cold, or like it's not like Mr. Ghostman like popping up being like,
Yes, yes.
hey, Kate, how are your bangs? That's like really scary.
That is
Um,
what a ghost would talk to me about.
and then there is one part that I can't tell you because it's a spoiler, but there's also
Okay.
like one aspect of the story that I was not expecting reading it that was really scary for me. So,
Oh my gosh,
Sundown
I am
Motel.
excited. Yeah,
Sun,
it's not that like I'm against supernatural now. I used to just be a little more narrow. And I think it's because like one of the first books I ever read that had supernatural in it, it was a twist at the end that just like was a convenient way to describe everything. And so I think like my one experience made me think like, oh, supernatural ones, just like it's like, oh, a ghost did it. And now I've read some where I'm like, oh, it can actually just be a cool other way to tell a story.
so the Broken Girls and the Sundown Motel have very similar structure with that,
Okay.
where there are supernatural elements, but there's also like believable elements as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I think that you will absolutely love them both. And I'm very excited
Nice.
for that because I'm the same way. Like now that I'm kind of used to it a little bit more, not just
Mm-hmm.
by Simone St. James, but other books as well.
Yeah.
Um, I think that because I'm used to it now, like I don't mind it in a book if I'm prepared for it. But with
Yeah.
hers, like
Yeah.
I was told ahead of time, like there are supernatural elements in this.
Mm-hmm.
So be prepared, but like also they're not, it doesn't overtake the entire story.
That's great. That's like literally, it's kind of like I don't watch any other fantasy, but I watch Game of Thrones because like it's a story about just like fighting for power and shifting alliances. And
Yeah.
then the fantasy just happens to be there. And then I was like, oh, so in other stuff, it could be that way.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that you would like all three of her recent ones. But the Book of Cold Cases, which is very like true crime inspired, I think that you
Okay.
can read that any time of year, but I think that the Broken
Okay.
Girls and the Sundown Motel would definitely like hit better in the October months.
Nice. Months.
October months.
I wish it was multiple months. That's the only reason I pointed it out.
Listen, I like to treat September like it's October Eve, but like we had a very
Uh-huh.
warm September, so I was kind of pissed off and I couldn't like fully immerse myself and embrace it. But I'm
Hmm.
living every October day like it is my last because,
I get it. You gotta soak it
especially
up. You
now,
gotta eat all the pumpkin you can.
I have so many pumpkin spice K cups. It's like ridiculous. I'm
That's
just like
awesome.
so afraid that one day I'm going to go to the grocery store and they're just not going to be there. And I should be prepared for
I
that
get that.
because like I should be prepared for it because it literally happens every year,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
but
I get it.
yeah, it's like
I
that
have been
thing
on
where
a pumpkin cream cold brew kick, but I have been making it at home. So,
I don't
not
think I can
always
do cold
spending
brew. I think it would give me an
$7.
anxiety attack.
I'm careful with my cold brew. Yeah. It is stronger, but like if I'm having to take Benadryl, cold brew is my
Oh
best
yeah.
friend.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I do have a new habit.
You have a new habit?
Yes. Because I have like a
Go
couple of
on.
cups of coffee and I'm like, okay, that like keeps me good until like about 12:30, 1 o'clock. So
Yep.
now I'm in the habit of like around 2 o'clock ish having one of the mini cans of Diet Coke for a little caffeine break.
Nice. I definitely thought it was going to be crazy. And that's just like cool.
I hate soda.
Oh, really?
I'm not a big soda
I'm not
person,
a
but
soda fan. I don't like carbonation.
see, I love flavored seltzer waters for like a
Tyler loves
little like
those.
well, it's a nice little like treat, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like if I'm going to somebody's house and like they have their cocktails and whatever, like I'll bring a few of those because it's good to have for like my little mocktail. I'm not just like drinking like, Aquafina. So
Aquafina.
it's just
Yeah.
something because I'll tell you what, I would rather suck the water out of a sidewalk than drink Dasani. I think it is the most disgusting
You're one
water.
of those people that hates Dasani. I
Everybody
don't
should
hate
be
it.
one of those. Whenever if I like drink it, I've been desperate before where I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna pass out if I don't drink water. So I'm either gonna embarrass myself or I'm gonna have to force to drink Dasani. And like McDonald's, like I've gone to like McDonald's before. I'm like, can I get a can I get a McBottle of
Can I get a McDonald's?
can I get a McWater? Can I get a bottle of
Oh, that was
water?
funny.
And it's like Dasani, and I'm like, oh, but like I swear to God, whenever I've drank Dasani, I feel like you have the mental imagery of them just taking this empty water bottle and filling it with toilet water. It's
Some people, like,
disgusting.
there are so many people that are passionate about this on TikTok.
The people that have the box where they only have the straws poking out and they can tell you like what
Yeah, like that. I've seen those.
I could pick out the Dasani.
I believe it. I really
I could
believe
pick
you.
out Dasani, and my favorite bottled water is Essentia.
Okay. Yep.
That is my like. I feel like
I need to go try it. I don't know
if
if I've ever had it. I've seen it.
if I have a few sips of that, it just is so crisp and like it tastes so clean. But it also just makes me feel like it hydrates me more than like any bottled water does.
That's impressive.
I love Essentia, but
Try
Dasani
it.
is like straight from Satan. Like Satan made Dasani and delivered it from hell.
Are you ready to feel like we were never ever twins ever? It was my favorite water growing up. I lived for Dasani. I haven't had it in forever. And like we just like I just don't really drink bottled water that often. But when I was in high school, I loved it. So I
But
guess we can
in
end
your
it. I guess we can
defense,
end this podcast now.
this has been fun.
Goodbye
um
forever.
hold on, I gotta block you on Instagram really quick. In your defense, I think that there weren't as many bottled water options
Oh,
then.
that's a good point.
So there weren't as many things for you to compare it to. Like
That's a really good point.
this week or whenever, like, oh my God,
The only other
Dream.
thing I drank was like Nestle, that like shitty Walmart water, maybe, or something that like the water bottle just crumpled if you like blew on it.
Yep. Yep. I
So yeah, I was not having options.
I'm gonna tell you your best day of your life is going to be a crisp Saturday where it's like a little windy and a little chilly. And like if you put your little ear up against the window, you can hear the leaves rustling in the background. And
Yes.
you're gonna open your Kindle and read The Sundown Motel, and you're gonna
Yep.
order takeout pizza. And you're gonna chug
Mhm.
the shit out of a bottle of Essentia, and you're gonna text me the next day and be like, "I felt like I just took 3 antidepressants. Like I'm on top of the world."
You fixed
Best day of
me.
my life. Best day of my life.
That sounds amazing. And I'm definitely going to do it when I start that book.
That's like my every Saturday. I actually do like when I go get I get Dunkin' for myself on Saturday and Sundays. Otherwise, I make
Mhm.
my coffee at home like during the work week.
Yeah.
But Saturday and Sundays are like my treat to myself where I'll go to Dunkin'. And every Saturday I will go and I buy like the huge bottles of essential water for
Yeah.
like my like weekend water just as like my treat.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, once I as you have yours out too, once I went to an emotional support water bottle, I stopped ever drinking bottled water.
I do feel better that I only drink bottled water on the weekends.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I love my hydro flask. I do love it. It is amazing. It keeps
Hmm.
water nice cold.
So cool.
Another amazing water is Hint. Have you ever had Hint water?
Oh, is that when it has a little bit of flavor?
Just a very small, natural
Hint.
tasting hint of some sort of fruit.
Yeah.
Amazing. The raspberry and
Yes.
the raspberry one is my favorite. The blackberry one is my second favorite. Um,
Hmm.
I don't mess around with like the pineapple idea, and I'm not big on like the watermelon idea either because I feel like it would taste
I
like
don't like
candy.
fake watermelon flavor normally.
So they don't taste artificial. They taste like the actual fruit.
Oh, maybe I would like it then.
So the watermelon one is not that bad. The idea that I had would be that it would be like eating TV static.
Mm, yes. Yeah, it is.
In your face. But like it's not. It's good.
Yeah, I don't do fizzy stuff that well. My
Yeah.
stomach gets really, really big and I'm uncomfortable. Now
Yeah.
everyone knows. They really wanted to know that.
Yeah. No, I can see that where it would so like actually really funny that you say that because I used to get like a Sprite on Thursday nights when I'd go out
Mhm.
with my friends, and like I found that like I feel like my friend Tyler got in my head because he was like, I don't like soda. And I was like, I don't really like soda either, but I'm just like having this as like something like other than just water when I'm out,
Yeah,
like, you know,
yeah.
hanging out with everybody and they are having their like
Mhm.
their cocktails or their wine or whatever. And I'm like, well, I'm gonna have a little Sprite, live on the edge a little
Yes,
bit.
yes, I get it.
But then he's like, oh, it's just too sweet. And I'm like, it's not that bad. But then as I the more I started to drink Sprite on Thursday nights when we went out, the more I was like, oh, he's right. Like it is too sweet and I do not like it.
Yeah.
So now I drink club soda with a splash of cranberry and it's
Mm,
just nice and refreshing.
I like
But
that.
I will say there's something weird about drinking that because I do feel more bloated and like
Mhm.
I feel like I break the seal easier with that than like
Yeah.
if I had chugged like 14 like vodka club sodas or whatever, vodka sodas.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I definitely know what you mean. Like, I can only have like a certain amount of like anything fizzy, otherwise I feel bloated and
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
gross feeling.
Yeah.
Um,
Strawberry lemonade is my favorite thing for someone to have at a restaurant so that I can get that instead of water. It's so good.
I
No
do love
fizzy.
lemonade. I do love
Oh,
lemonade.
so good.
Hmm.
Do you have McAllister's? Is that a national chain or is that Indiana? That might
I
be
don't
Indiana.
know.
They have the best strawberry lemonade.
Really?
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know what like, oh, the only thing I can think of is like Minute Maid, but I don't
Yeah.
think I really like that.
Oh, I was talking about a restaurant even.
Oh, no, I don't
I
think
don't
that
think
we
you
have.
have it.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Oh, it's from Mississippi. Now I know.
Um, well,
We just went everywhere.
speaking of small towns
Hmm.
and things like that, um, I have two more books to recommend to you.
Go for it.
These scare me based on atmosphere alone,
Nice. I like that.
pure atmosphere, because they're not necessarily books that you would read and think that would make you afraid, but the way
Hmm.
the atmosphere is written in them, and they're both very similar, but I couldn't choose between the two. Um, Hello Transcriber by Hannah Morrissey.
We were just talking. I just asked you about her this week. That's why I'm shocked because I just
Yeah,
added that to my list.
yeah. Um, amazing.
I
Amazing.
have to
There's
read it. I just added it to my list this week.
one scene in that book you're gonna be like cartwheeling because it's so
Is
creepy.
it worth reading in the fall too?
Yes,
Okay, cool.
yes. And Trace of Evil by Alice Blanchard. Atmosphere.
I haven't read that one either.
It's part of the Natalie Lockhart
That's
series that,
what I thought it was reminding
yeah,
me of.
yeah.
Nice.
And I love
Which
both
is
of
the
those.
first one
I
for
love both of
anyone who
those.
is
Oh
wondering.
yeah, you're gonna be obsessed. I love both of them for what they are in crime fiction.
Hmm.
Especially like, well, I mean, both of them. I can't say like especially one over the other because they're both like
Hmm.
fantastic. But the way that they both capture the atmosphere is very similar to Ursulina, but like in their own
Oh,
very specific way.
nice.
So those are my recommendations for you for fall as well, because I know that you're a big atmosphere person and
I
imagery
am.
and stuff. So I was like thinking of just some of these books that have different aspects of the storyline that could like scare somebody or creep you out or make you like have a hard time
Hmm.
sleeping, but also be like, oh hot damn, like
Yeah,
this is intense
my
and
jam.
oh hot damn, this is my gym.
I'm so funny.
The funniest. The funniest. Yeah. So your TBR is gonna be full for October. I don't think you're
It's
gonna
so full.
thank God all these
I,
books
which
are
is
gonna scare the
good.
shit out of you because you're not gonna be able to
Yes.
sleep the whole month of October anyway.
Yes. I'm just gonna be, I'm gonna have like bags under, I'm gonna be like a female lead in a horror movie where like I get progressively more and more tired looking by the end of the month.
Like Nancy in
Mm-hmm.
A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yes,
Oh my
yes.
God, by the end of the month, you're gonna have like the gray streak.
Yep.
Remember, she got
You,
so
I'm gonna
afraid that
get
she had.
gray hairs.
I think I
I
found
do
one the other
I do
day.
turn 30 in like less than a week. It's time to get old now.
I'm 35.
It's not
Technically,
old.
you're still 29.
Yeah.
When's your
Right
birthday?
now, as of right now, the 17th. So 6 days.
Oh, little babe.
Thus the AirPods.
Oh my God. I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to get
So you're gonna
some.
give me gray hair in my birth month.
Mhm.
I'm down for it.
Welcome
I can
to
color it.
welcome to your dirty, flirty, terrified all night 30s.
I love that. That was good.
Dude, I am so excited to watch this Absentia show.
It's really good. Like it made me sad, but it's really good.
Is it dubbed? Is it like from another country?
No,
I'm just
I
really
think there are
surprised I haven't
two
heard of it.
seasons.
Huh.
I think it's two seasons. There might be a third that I haven't watched. I don't know.
It might balance out everything really well because right now I'm binging Bling Empire and I'm completely
Yes,
obsessed with
that
it.
sounded good. That sounded
I'm
good. I
really
need something like that.
so last night, like I DNF'd my third book this week, and I was like, I'm not going to bother because I don't know if it's my mood. And it's
Right.
like, I don't know if it's like my mood, but like I had justification for why the three books weren't working for me. Like one of them, I was like, I'm not going to bother with this anymore. And then the other two, I were like, maybe just my mood right now. Maybe I'll pick these up at a later time.
I had one
Um,
that was like that.
and I
I
was
was like,
just,
maybe it's because I'm getting frustrated.
yeah. So I was like, I'm making pasta for dinner and
Mhm.
I'm going to fill up my hydro flask and stay hydrated and watch TV. And you know what? It kind of felt good. As
I
much
bet
as
it did.
I don't ever feel the pressure to read. I never
Just
feel like
enjoy
I'm
it.
forcing myself to read. I really do love it.
I
I
get
think
it.
sometimes my long TBR list and all of the things that I want to read kind of make me feel like I should read as
I
much as
agree.
humanly possible. But I think that
Yep.
it's also like this is your PSA. Sometimes, no matter how much you love reading, it is okay to take a break if you do not feel like reading.
I know what you mean. I That was how I was feeling this weekend because I was so disappointed. I just didn't want to start another one, but I was like, but I have so
Yep.
many other ones. And I was like, I don't think I should even start them right now.
No, no. And I mean, that's okay because look what happened.
Yeah.
I watched Bling Empire last night. I
Yeah.
ate pasta. I went to bed at a decent time.
Yeah.
And I woke up today and decided that I was going to pick up In a Deep, Deep Snow.
Hmm.
And now I'm 30% into it. And it was the
Oh,
decision that
I cannot wait to read. I probably am gonna have bad sleep tonight. I'm gonna be
it's
like,
a
I have
little
to get
It's very interesting. It's very different than Ursulina.
Yeah, even the opening that I read, I was like, this is a very different tone.
The pacing is a lot slower. So I
Hmm.
think where I'm at right now, if I don't pick it back up tonight, which I don't think I will, just
Hmm.
because I ended in a good reading a third of a book in a day for me is good. Like I'm
Oh
not gonna,
yeah.
yeah. But the pacing is a lot slower to the point that it's like I think it's gonna be easier for me to take breaks with this one than it was with the Ursulina, which I'm completely fine with
I get
because it
that.
is a different story. So
Hmm.
I am completely fine with waiting for you to catch up to 30% because
Yeah.
I probably won't be able to pick it up again until tomorrow when I get done
Hmm.
with my day job.
Yeah. I just want to get like into it. Like I want to like be in the kind of past the exposition. I'm still in the exposition part.
Yeah, yeah. I think you'll get into it and like it is very interesting and I like the direction it's going in and I like the different
Hmm.
like little like plots on the side as well, but I think
Nice.
that you'll definitely enjoy it, but I don't think it'll be hard for us to like be like, oh, okay, like let's stop here and like discuss,
Yeah.
like, because
Yeah.
obviously now we're probably from the Ursulina out going to find ourselves in a position where we're reading more things together because we have a lot on
Yeah.
our
It seems like it.
we have a
Definitely in
lot.
October.
Yeah, because like sometimes buddy reads are hard, but in the
Yeah.
same sense, like with you, it's like you mention a book and I'm like, let me know when you start it. I want to read it with you. And it's
Hmm.
like I
Yeah.
mention a book and you're like, I'm gonna start it when you do. So like it's just
Yeah.
very easy. And we
Yeah.
read at similar paces. So
Hmm. Yeah.
and now I really want to
Given the
watch.
choice, we like to get through a third of a book during the weekdays.
Yeah. And I want to read or I want to read. I want to watch this show that you recommended.
Yeah. It's
Did you have
really
anything
good.
else on your list? Did you have four?
I had The Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware is like a
Good one.
really good, like you kind of feel isolated because the main character is like the outsider coming into someone else's house. And
Yeah.
then it's just like scary the whole time because you don't know the explanation for like a lot of creepy shit that's happening. And it was one where I was alone at home that week when I was reading it. So it was one that like if it was night, I would just like stop reading it because I was like, I don't need to be worried about what's happening downstairs if I hear a
Yeah.
sound. So
You
that one's
know,
really good.
that's a really good one too. I almost listed that one.
Yeah.
I almost listed that one because I have been meaning to tell you this. There was like, I don't know if it was last November or the November before that, but there was one
Mm-hmm.
November that I realized I was behind on two Ruth Ware books.
Whoa.
And I had one week where I binged The Death of Mrs. Westaway and The Turn of the Key
Yes.
back to back. And it was just
Mm-hmm.
so much fun because
Yeah.
she's somebody like right now I'm making this list that I told you about earlier tonight about like these series that I want to read because I feel like binging
Mm-hmm.
something like that. It would be so much fun to binge read all of her books. Like as
I
a new
know.
reader, as somebody who's never read her before, like
Yes.
that would be such
I love her books so much. And
except for
it's
one
just
that I
so
would
many good
skip.
ones. I think there's one I didn't. Yeah. I think we
There's
talked
only
about that
uh-huh. Yeah. Uh, The woman in
off
cabin
air.
10, the woman in
Mm-hmm.
cabin 10 is the one I enjoyed that. I would read it during the summer, but I just feel like it
Yeah.
has such a different because the setting is like a cruise ship. It has like such a
Right.
different vibe than like the rest of them.
It
Um,
does.
I
Yeah.
still gave it 5 stars. So when I read it, I absolutely loved it. But I just think like
Yeah.
I would not want to be binge reading that in like October, November
No, no, I agree. But the
if you want
death of Mrs.
something scary.
Westaway and the Turn of the Key together, that would have been amazing.
Yeah, I think it was like November because I remember
Yeah.
like
That's
it
perfect.
was cold enough that I like felt like I remember like reading one in like a hot bathtub because like that's my
That's
jam.
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because my last recommendation is just the one that scared me because the plot is terrifying is Stalker by
Uh-huh.
Lars Kepler.
Yeah, that's on my TBR too.
I'm going to warn you, I'm going to warn everybody that's listening. this is not done on purpose. Like, I am not sponsored by Lars Kepler in the least
Right,
bit,
right.
but I will at any time in my life find a way to include them in any conversation because of how obsessed with this
Yeah.
series I am.
No,
Um,
I have to read one.
they can be read as standalones. For
Mm-hmm.
everybody listening, you can read Stalker as a standalone. Kate,
Mm-hmm.
you are different. You have to start with the Sandman. You have
I'm not
you have
allowed
specific
to.
rules. You are not allowed to
Yeah,
read them
you
as
did.
standalones. You have to start them with book 4, which is the Sandman, because I know that
Yep.
I have full faith in myself and our relationship to know that when I tell you you are going to start with the Sandman and you're going to read everything after that, I have full
Mm-hmm.
faith. No, I know that you're going to love them. I know that you're going to like them.
I believe it.
Um, I know that about you. Everybody
Mm-hmm.
else who's listening that I don't know as well as I know you, like I can't say the same thing. I can tell you what I
Yeah,
recommend.
yeah. Yep.
So, if there's people out there that don't want to listen to me when it comes to this, then you don't have to. You can read Stalker as a standalone. And if you decide you like
Yeah.
it, you can go back and forth. Kate, no, no, you have
I am
you have
starting with the Sandman.
you have a
I do have that
specific set of
note. You
rules.
did tell me that to
Mm-hmm.
start with that one.
Yeah, yeah, because
I will.
I have a little, I don't even want to say it's a secret. I don't even know why I would say that. I have a little bit of a
Because it's more
plan.
fun.
Yeah, it's mysterious.
I have a
Um,
secret.
I have a secret. No, everyone's gonna hear it and they're gonna be like, who gives a shit? Um, my like plan is to catch up on my arcs between
Mm,
October and December of this year by the
yeah.
end of November because I want to reread the Lars Kepler books, starting with the Sandman on. Like, I want to reread them in the month of December.
All right. So I guess I'm reading them in December.
You can read them whenever you want because I
I
know
will.
this is my plan B, but like, because I know damn well, like, if you text me at like 1 o'clock in the morning tonight
Uh-huh.
and you're like, I started the Sandman, like, I know when I wake up tomorrow, I'm going to be starting the Sandman. So, like, you do not have to
Yeah.
wait until December
We'll
because
see. But
Lord
you have
knows
to give
what
me
my
my
plan.
October books anyway. So
Yeah, you've got some,
I've got
some
some
lists of
work
rules.
to do.
Yeah, yeah, you definitely do. I'm still doing it right now because I'm like, hmm.
I'm
Um,
excited
I
to not think
think
about them.
I've labeled it your Halloween TBR just because like
Yeah.
that's perfect. But
Mm-hmm.
I think I think Hello Transcriber could wait until November or December because
Okay.
it's more of like a wintry one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm getting ready and sending it now. I'm gonna keep it in my notes too because that way I don't forget. I can stay on top of you.
Check in on me.
Check in. Or maybe I'll just keep it on my notes so that I can like I can do a little check mark when you. But yes,
Oh, that's true.
any of these books, I will read them with you. I will read them with you.
Nice. I'm so excited,
Yeah.
especially after reading meh ones this weekend.
Oh, these are gonna be like top tier.
Like
This is gonna make
certified
this is gonna make
fresh.
up for your shitty weekend. This is gonna
It
make up for your
is.
shitty
That's how I
weekend.
feel. That's how I'm feeling.
I almost did that. If I read Saturday, I read a 3-star. Started off really good, and then I realized that the plot could have been shortened up a bit. Like, it didn't have to be
Mm.
375 pages. It could have been about 300 and been like perfect.
Yes.
And the
Yes.
cast of characters all were like, none of them had personalities that differentiated them for me.
Oh, I hate that.
But the plot was good and there were some really creepy moments. But like, if I would not have picked up that book and stuck with it Saturday and had like a DNF situation, I
Mm-hmm.
would have picked up the Chestnut Man.
You are the Chestnut Man promoter, but you're not. You're not promoting it, but you are
I will
obsessed.
promote it. I do. Yes. It has some terrifying kill scenes that are very like slasher-esque.
Nice.
And it deals with one of my favorite tropes in a thriller. So anybody who like has not read it yet, it's basically
Yep.
about the police. I think it's Sweden.
Scandinavian.
Yeah,
Is that Scandinavia or is that Sweden? I don't know, something like that.
I don't know. But the Scandinavian police, they report to a crime scene. At the crime scene,
Mhm.
there's a little figurine made of matchsticks and chestnuts.
Mhm.
And when they like bring it in for analysis, they find fingerprints of it on it from a prime minister's daughter who went missing and was assumed dead like years before. And they're like, they just assume that she had been murdered, right? And like
Oh
this
my
guy,
god.
like, they were like,
Right.
she was murdered. We never found her body. Why are her fingerprints showing up on these chestnut men found at this crime scene? And then the crimes continue, more chestnut men found with each crime scene. But then it gets to the point where, like, I think the slogan of the book is like, when you see one, it's too late, because like there are some moments where
Mm.
people see a chestnut man and you, as the reader, will realize,
It
Dunzo.
says if you find one, he's already found you.
Oh, yeah, that's what it is. So good.
Yeah.
So good.
Sounds
I'm
good. That
obsessed. I
sounds
have
great.
the US paperback and I have the
Uh-huh.
Canadian paperback.
Nice.
So I am ready. And I will read, I mean, like I said, every book that I've sent you, I will read with you. Like these are books
Uh-huh.
that are perfect to reread. So I am
Nice.
100% game. I know that you will love this.
I know. It does that sounds really good.
And I know
Really
that
good.
if anybody loves, it reminds me of like a horror movie in the sense of like Silence of the Lambs, kind of, or like
Yeah. Okay.
Seven, but
Mm-hmm.
also like the man who wrote the book is the creator of the Scandinavian version of the show The Killing.
Yeah, that's what I was just reading.
Yeah,
That's
which I was a
awesome.
huge fan of The Killing, the US remake.
Uh-huh.
So this is just the best.
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the episode. Be sure to follow us on Instagram so that you can keep up with everything we're reading and talking about. You can follow Gare at Gare Indeed Reads, and you can follow me, Kate, at The Girl with the Book on the Couch.